Now, say we're repeating similar calculations over and over again in an automated fashion, or say we have a piece of a program that is doing the same operation over and over again, we may want to consider, obviously, what other choice we've got anyway. We look into Python iterators. Um, so we say an iterator is an object that represents a stream of data that can be iterated over. Okay, so here on our screen we have a design that gives an overview of Python iterators. So some kind of high level overview anyway. So we have iterator objects, list, dictionary, text, turns and string is also uh, iterable. Okay, but we're going to be looking at this, and then we have this iter function. We use the iter function in Python to check whether an object is iterable, whether it implements the iterator interface. Okay, we're going to be getting all of this later. There is some kind of custom iterators there. This one we can define, we can create by ourselves. Okay, define. I think that one is more appropriate. But we've not talked about classes yet, so I'm not going to bother you with this for now. And then here we have benefits of iterators. It's memory efficient. It allows for lazy evaluation, and it supports infinite iteration. And we're going to be looking at uh, some of these in the course of this tutorial. So let's go to our IPython and then let's play with some program. Okay, so we are inside our IPython. We're familiar with something like this. So if you do for high in range 10, then we can say print high to the end like that. Okay, so we want this end is used for formatting the output here so that it's on the same line. Then if we break out of this loop, because we have this now, when you're looking at this, it's easy to conflict range with list. But then range is not a list, range is an iterator. Okay, so we're going to be showing that in the course of this tutorial. Although the Python interpreter treats range as though it's a list, but it's not a list, it's a range iterator. And then I can show you there is a way we can check whether a Python object is iterable, whether it's an iterator, whether it's implementing iterator interface. So let me quickly define a function. If I say def is iterable, and then here I'm going to pass some kind of object. Okay, and then I'm going to do a try. Okay, and then I'm going to call the iter function. This iter function is used to check whether an object is iterable, whether it implements the iterator interface. Okay, so I'm going to pass our object here. Okay, and then I'm going to do return true. So if our object is iterable, I think I made a mistake here. If our object is iterable, this is going to return true. Okay, and then it's try. Then let's do except. What's that? What's that? Type error. Is it type error? Okay, and then I'm going to do return false. Okay, so let me break out of this. Is iterable. I'm coming. I didn't get. This isn't what I want to do. Okay, now I get it. It's iterable. Okay, so let me break out of this. Okay, and then I have to what? I'm going to invoke the is iterable. Okay, so is iterable is iterable like that. Is that correct? Okay. Now I need to pass my object into it. Okay, if I pass some string, let's see what we get. We get true. So, which means string returns an iterator. Okay, so string is iterable. Let's try another construct. If I pass a list here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so list is iterable. Okay, so if I pass iterable, if I pass an integer, and I get false. So integer is not iterable. Okay. I don't know. Let's do this. Iterable. Then if I pass range 10, what does that do? It's true. So range is iterable. Okay. So this is how we check whether an object is iterable. Okay. So whether it returns the iterable object, we use the iter function in Python to check whether an object returns an iterator object. Okay, so we've done for, what is it called? We've done for range, we've done for list. Okay, so one thing is this. An iterator in Python, it provides the functionality required by our loop. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is this. Look at this. For value in, we're going to have a list 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, what's that? Oh, sorry. For value in, I forgot this. Okay, and then we can do print value. So we print value plus 1, and then we want everything in the same line. So I'm going to format it like this. Okay. Okay, so this formatting is it's kind of okay. So what should I do? For value, then we do print. So I need to space this out a bit. Okay, so this is what we have. Now, we've checked the other time that list is iterable. Okay, it returns an iterator object. Okay, now, or maybe let me just do that again in case you're wondering. So iter, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. See, we have list iterator. So our list returns an iterator object. Okay, now this iterator object, what it does is it provides the functionality required by our for loop. This iterator object, it provides the functionality required by our for loop. Okay, so when we use the iter, we got list iterator. So which means this iter object is some kind of container that gives us access to the next object. Okay, for as long as that iterator object is valid. Okay, so when we did this, look at this iter. Okay, I can put this inside. Okay, I can point a variable to this. Let's say, what do I call this variable? Items. Okay, and then I do iter, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's what we have. Okay, so that's our items. Okay, now This iter is used to check whether this is iterable. Of course, we know it's iterable. Now, it returns some kind of iterator objects. So the iterator object provides the functionality for us to loop. Now, the iterator object is a container. The container gives us access to the next object, all right, inside our list. Okay, so until it is valid, for as long as it is valid. What I'm trying to say is we can do this thing one after the other instead of looping through it at once like this. So uh, we can do print, for instance. We can do print, and then we can do what is it called? We can do next. So now this next is used to go to the next iteration in Python. So we can just pass our variable inside items. So this does it one after the other. Okay, so if I press enter, see, 1, that's the first item there. If I do again, I do print, and then I do next, then I do items. See, it goes to 2. It keeps going on and on like that until, for as long as what is it called, the iterator object is valid. Okay, so this iterator object provides us, it's like a container that gives us access to the next object for as long as it is valid. Okay, now in the course of this, in the beginning of this tutorial, I think I said range is not a list, it's an iterator. Okay, although Python treats it as if it's a list. And I remember we said if we can do iter to check, and then we do range, okay, to check what it does. So this is range iterator, okay? So range is not a list, it's a special kind of iterator. Python treats it as though it's a list, okay? Now, look at a scenario where we're trying to iterate over, say we have some kind of large data that we're trying to iterate over, okay? Trying to iterate through. Python performs something known as iterator indirection, okay? So you have a situation where the full item or the full list is never explicitly created, okay? So let me just give you an instance. If you have, say we have num, and then we do num is 10 exponentiation 12 like that, okay? Now we can have for high in range num, okay? Now this is going to return some kind of a trillion value, okay? So if we were to loop through everything, obviously it's going to strain our memory. So which means at some point in our loop we're going to call the break construct here. So we can do for high in range num, then we say okay, if I is greater than or equals to 10, okay, and then let's do break like that, okay. So and then we can print print high. Now let me format it and like that. Okay, so let me break out of this. Okay, so we have what is it called? We have this. Okay, so we're creating what is it called? Now this is like this is a trillion value. Okay, so this is not the reason why we are breaking out of this is because we don't want this to strain our memory. Okay, so now imagine we trying to implement an infinite range. Okay, so because here we're breaking out of something we perceive to be infinite because the trillion value is quite large. Okay, so this is just an ordinary range, and then we're passing this. So what if we're trying to loop through an infinite list? Okay, so uh, Python has an inbuilt count uh, method that implements an infinite range. So this is not an infinite range, although the value is quite large. So this count method, we can get it on the uh, Iterators objects, which is an inbuilt Python module. Okay, so the way we do that is to say from iterators, okay, import count like that, okay, and then we can do for I in count. So we're calling the count method here as the count function, if you like, okay, and then we can do now. Count is going to implement an infinite loop. So this is still going to strain our memory. So which means we have to figure a way to break out of this loop if we don't want to strain our memory like that. So we can say, like we did the other time, we can say if I is greater than or equals to 10, then we want to say break, okay? And then we're going to print, let me go back. I'm going to print high, and then we say hand this like that, and then this works like before. So the difference between this one and this is just range, of course, and then this count implements an infinite range. Okay, so let's look at some inbuilt, some useful iterators in Python. Okay, um, one of those is enumerate. Okay, one of those is enumerate. But before I do enumerate, so as you know how useful enumerate is, I'm talking about enumerate iterator. Okay, it's an inbuilt iterator, an inbuilt iterator object in Python. Okay, that we can use in implementing our iterator operation. Okay, so but then before I do that, let's do this. If you have what is it called? If we have L and then we specify some kind of list, say we have 1, 3, 5, 7, like that. Okay, that's L. And then we say for I in let's say range, and then for our range we can do length, the length object there, length here, okay. Hope I've not blundered this. Okay, so then we're going to print. We print high. Then we want to print what is it called? Hell, and then high. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to print the index and the values of our what is it called list. Though we're passing our list inside this range. So we're using the length of our list as argument for our range. Okay, so here, see, I'm able to print the index and the value of our list. So this is index 0, index 1, index 2, then index 3, like that. Okay, good. Now, where you have enumerator, iterator, which is an inbuilt iterator object in Python, where it comes in is we don't have to do this. Okay, now watch this. If I do for I in var, no, that's not what I want to do. For high, comma, value, okay, in enumerator, okay, enumerator, then I'm going to pass my list inside here, this list, okay, good. Then what am I going to do? Then I can do print high, then value. I think I've blundered. What did I do? Say, oh, enemy. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I got the spelling wrong. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. For high val in enumerator. Okay, so I'm going to pass my list inside, and then I'm going to do print high val. What am I doing wrong? It's saying enumerator is not defined. What is that? Why is that? Oh, sorry, it's not enumerator, it's enumerate. I'm sorry, enumerator, what is it called? Iterator, enumerate iterator. I used to call it enumerator in my head. So let me do that again for high. So this is going to be enumerates. Enumerates. Okay, enumerates. So then I'll do print like that. Now this works, okay? So you realize this is more elegant compared to what we did initially, okay? So the enumerate iterator, enumerate, okay? Enumerate, then pass L in. See, say enumerate that. Okay, so the enumerate iterator, what it does is we can use it to get the index and the value in our list. Okay, so that's not the only inbuilt useful iterators that we have. We also have zip. Okay, so zip allows us to what is it called? So when we have multiple lists, for instance, say we wish to iterate over multiple lists simultaneously, okay? So we can use the zip iterator. Let me show you that. Let's have P, and then we have, no, we're gonna have even, and then I'm gonna have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that. And then I'm gonna have odds, okay, and then I'm gonna have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 3, 5. Okay, I think we're done like that. Okay, so like that. So for our zip iterator, it allows us to iterate over 2 lists. So we have 2 lists now. So let's iterate over these 2 lists. Then we can have for what should I call it now? For high j, okay, in zip. See, we're just calling it is inbuilt in zip even. So the 2 lists we're passing odds. Okay, so what do we do? Then we can do print high j like that. Okay, let's see. So this is so cool. See, with the zip method, which is the zip iterator, we can look through 2 lists in Python. So this is the first list. This is, what is it called? The second list, like that. We also have map and filter, okay? So the map iterator, you might have seen this in the previous tutorial. The map iterator takes a function and then it applies it to the values in an iterator. So let's do something like square. So squares, we have anonymous functions. So what's the inputs? Okay, we can have x and exponentiation 2, like that. So that's what it returns, right? So that's how for our squares. And then remember, we are trying to use map, okay? And then we say map takes a function and then applies it to the values in an iterator. Okay, so we can do for value okay, so now we can use the filter method. Okay, filter. Okay, in filter, what do we do inside here? No, I don't want to use the filter method yet. We're gonna get there. So I'm just gonna do for val in map. Okay, let's do map. Then I'm gonna pass, what is it called? I'm gonna pass this squares function here. So it's going to square. Okay. Then I'm going to do range. Okay, range. Let me use 10. Okay. Now, what do I want to do after this? I want to print the value. So print val. Okay, and then I'm going to format this like that, like this. Okay, let's see what we get. See, so we're using the map. This map, it takes a function, this function, okay, and it applies it to the value in an iterator. Okay, so look at what the map does. It's taking this function, it's applying the value in our iterator, this range iterator. So this range goes from 0 to 9, and then it's squaring it. Squares 0, squares 1, squares 2, 3, like that. Okay. Now we also have filter iterator. Okay, I was going to jump the gun initially. So we have filter iterator. So for the filter iterator, what it does is it passes through values for which the filter function evaluates to true. Okay, so it passes through the filter iterator, it passes through values for which the filter function evaluates to true. So let's do something. What if we do is even, like that, and then we have lambda again, lambda, okay, then our inputs, then again we can do x modulus 2, 0. You already know what that does. So so that's what we have. Then we can do for value in, now we're going to use filter now. So filter, and then we're going to pass our function in is even, okay, and then we're going to have a range. We will stick with range 10 here. Okay, so we're going to print. So we print value like that. Remember what we said about filter. We said it passes through values for which the filter function evaluates to true. Okay, so here we are only going to get what is it called? Out of these range values, we're only going to get for those that are even. Okay, so it's implementing this even function. Okay, and this function, it returns even number. Okay, so for even number, for each of the numbers here, okay, that's what a filter is going to do. It's going to filter through the even numbers in this iteration. Okay, so if we press enter, obviously we get 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, like that. Okay, okay. Sometimes we can pass iterators as function arguments. Okay, so we know about the print function, print for instance. Okay, so we can pass the range iterator for instance. So here we can do something like this, range, so range 10 for instance. So what does this do? See what it's doing. So this is a way of passing an iterator into a function. Of course, this print is a function. We can also do something a bit more complicated than this. So we do print, okay, and then here we can call pass the map iterator, okay, and then here what do we want to do? Obviously, when we did for map, we have to pass some kind of function and then the, what is it called? The iterator objects. Okay, so here we can do lambda, which is an anonymous function, lambda, and then we can do x exponentiation 2. So That's going to be for a function, and then for our iterator, we can do range 10 like that. Is that even accurate what I'm doing? Okay, so we can pass it like that, and then let's see what we get. See? So we are passing iterator inside function. Okay, so there is this specialized, what is it called? There is this specialized, we have specialized iterators known as iter2s. I think I've mentioned that prior to this time. And then we can do some kind of permutations and then combinations with our iter2s. That is, we can call the permutations objects on our iter2s, what is it called, module in Python. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So we can have from iter2s, then we say import permutations. Permutations. I hope that spelling is correct. Permutations. Okay. So then what we have, then we can do, let's say P equals permutations. Permutations. Okay. And then we're going to pass an iterator here. Let's say we have range. Range, what are we going to do? Let's say range 3, for instance. Range 3. Okay. And then we're going to print P like this. Okay, like this, like this. Okay. If this works, we should get the different permutations of our range 0, 1, 2 in what is it called? And in an ordered manner. Okay, so let's go. See? We're getting the different combinations of what is it called? Of our range values 0, 1, 2, 0, 2, like that. Okay, so just as we imported permutations, we can also import combinations. Okay, so we can do from iter2s import. Here we're going to do import combinations. Okay, combinations like that. Okay, so we can do C, and then we can do combinations. Okay, and then we can do range. What do we want to pass inside our range? Okay, so let's do 4 like that, and then let's do what is it called? Let's do 2. Okay, so what the iter2s.combinations function, what it does is it iterates over all unique combinations of some kind of specified values within a list. Okay, so this is what we have here. If I print, is this working? I hope I've not blundered with the syntax. Okay, so if I do print, so this is how we print it. This is story, then C, like that. So let's see what we get. See, so we get different combinations of our specified what is it called, value here. Okay, so we're doing combinations of 2. Okay, you get what we're doing, combinations of 2. That's why we're getting tuples with what is it called, with those of you who are familiar with combinatorial in mathematics, you understand why we have this range 4 and 2. So we're getting 2 combinations of 4. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, then 2 combinations. That's why we're getting this. Okay, so we can also do products from we can import products from what is it called, from our iter2s. So let me quickly do that, and then maybe I'm going to stop there. Then from iter2s, they import products like that. Oh, what have I done? Oh, it's products. I'm sorry, from iter2s import products. Okay, so uh the product iterator, it iterates over all set of pairs between two or more iterables. Okay, so what do we do? Then we can do p uh, p no okay p equals, so we're importing product from iter2s. Okay, so this product method is going to what is it called? It's going to iterate over all set of pairs between two or more iterables. Okay, so we can do p equals product, all right, product, and then here, what do we have? We can have string a b, for instance, and here we're going to pass range. What range you want to pass? 3. Okay, good. Then what do we do? Then we can do print p. Let's see what we get. See, remember what we said with iter2s.products. We said it iterates over all sets of pairs between two or more iterables. Remember, string is iterable. We demonstrated that initially, and then range is also iterable. So this is a string iterator, this is range iterator. So we're calling our products method from the iter2s module in Python, and then what that is doing is what is it called? It's iterating over all sets of pairs between two or more iterables. Okay, so I think we've done quite a bit here. Remember, for an object to be iterable, it has to implement the iterator interface. Okay, and okay, let me just stop there. Don't want this video to be longer than it needs to be. All right, guys, I'm going to see you guys next time. I hope you've learned something. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.